Geraldo.
Hi, Sean.
Please tell me you don't support this. I'm expecting the worst about to come out of your mouth. But just please tell me you don't.
Believe me, I am not enthusiastic about this plan at all. But Sean, you have to consider the fact, this is the question. Do junkies' lives matter? We lost 100,000 Americans in the last 1 year to overdose deaths. Fentanyl is everywhere. It's in all of these drugs. They opened these 2 pilot locations where the safe, secure, where the junkies can shoot up. They've saved 114 lives in 6 weeks. It's not a pretty thing. It's awful. I hate it. And yet, what's the option? Watching them overdose? Watching them die in the street? Watching them not out in the schoolyard?
I gave you an option. Take that money, open a facility, and offer them treatment of some kind with trained drug counselors to stop their addiction.
There are therapists on site, as I understand it, in the pilot locations. There are sanitary conditions. They come in with their own drugs. It's not that the government is giving them drugs. I don't like it. It's ugly.
You don't like it, but you support it.
Worse is the 100,000 dead junkies. I mean, there's 100,000 people dead. Fentanyl is everywhere.
Dan.
Don't worry, Sean. Geraldo says they come in with their own drugs, so no worries there, folks. As long as they're coming in with their own drugs, that's a-okay. Geraldo, I mean, this is really this is just juvenile. I mean, really, you constantly engage in this first order thinking stuff. You do this with immigration too, where you never ask the question, okay, and then what? So you say, well, it's not compassionate if we stop people who are suffering at the border. And then you never say to yourself, well, and then what? What if we tell people who come in the country illegally that if you come in, we're going to make the process of coming in the country more, we're going to facilitate that process. Wait, hold on. No, this is the Geraldo model of thinking. And in this, you're doing it again. You're saying, well, Sean, what do you want? Do you want 5 or 6 junkies to die? So we should make it easier for them to do drugs. Never again saying, okay, well then what? What happens when we make it easier to do drugs? Maybe more people would do drugs? Like, that's what second order thinking entails. I mean, we have a country of 2 Americas right now. You're an illegal immigrant, get on a plane with an arrest warrant, no problem at all. Yet you show up without your driver's license, you present 72 other forms of ID, you can't get on a plane.
You see this video right here? Hold on a second. That's San Francisco, the video that's playing right now?
I see the
that's
video.
San Francisco?
Yes.
More people died last year from overdoses than from COVID in San Francisco.
Yes.
You got to recognize that this is a real issue. 100,000 dead Americans. Dan, you've got an idea. What's the idea?
We give them crack pipes.
There have been treatment programs forever. I've been covering drugs since heroin, the epidemic, the first one, and then the crack and everything else that came after it.
I don't want to talk over you.
I'm like the Walter Cronkite of dope.
Okay, I don't want to talk over you. I want to. So just to be clear here, you're suggesting that because these people died of drugs, which is tragic, I don't wish death on anyone. I'm a believer. My faith matters to me, right? You're suggesting we should make the drug-using process easier by giving the equipment to use drugs. There you go. The verdict is in. Geraldo's correct. That makes sense to you? Like, how does that make sense? So let's give them the equipment to use more drugs.
Okay, you made the point. Okay. You made the point. Let me respond with one sentence.
All right.
The group says they've saved 114 lives in 6 weeks. That's one pilot program.
Geraldo, let me ask you a question.
In East Harlem and Washington Heights, they saved 114 people.
Geraldo, I know you. I know your kids, a lot of your kids, and you're a great father. All right, that I know about you. You are an amazing father.
Thank you.
Now, your kid comes to you and says, "Dad, I'm smoking crack. You can't stop me, and I'm shooting heroin, and you can't stop me." But I can't get any clean needles. What are you going to do?
I would die. I would bleed tears would be blood. I mean,
What are you going
I would
to
feel
do?
awful. These are horrible dilemmas, Sean. This
I'm
is a
asking,
group
what
that's
would
trying
you do?
something
'Cause I know
new.
what I'd do.
They're trying something new. Do you want the junkie in front of the school, or you want the junkie in private where his intake can be monitored? It's
want
an
him in
ugly
jail.
situation.
I want him in jail.
I'm
How
not
about
happy
that?
about this.
Yeah,
But Geraldo,
Jail
this is a
junkies,
serious,
that's kind of
Geraldo,
worse.
What's that
serious
gonna do?
question, and then I'll let Dan respond. What would you do if your child said, Dad, I'm using dirty needles. Can you get me some syringes? What would you do?
I wouldn't go out and buy clean syringes. I would not do that. But what I would do is I would wrap my arms around that child, and I would say, you're not getting out of my sight. I want to do everything I possibly can to save your life.
I know you mean
and
that.
This is just a desperate measure. This is a desperate measure, Sean. It's not. These
Dan
people
Bongino.
aren't celebrating.
Geraldo, I know, but you know, Sean asked you a question. I asked you earlier about immigration. Your emotions, which are, are laudable, are not public policy. I asked you also about immigration in the past, which Sean just asked you about what you would do if it was your kid, right? With illegal immigrants, like, how many of you guys take it in your home? The answer is you're not taking any in. So you just want other communities to take people. Like, this is the thing. Like, it's easy to speak about emotions, and I get you care. I'm not questioning the fact that you care about these people at all. I'm not. I mean that. I'm suggesting to you that that's not public policy. Public policy is full
What's
of
your
the
idea?
entire gray
What's your
area
idea?
of ethics.
I
What's
gave
our
you my idea.
We have a bunch of laws. Let's enforce them. We've done it in New York. It worked. There was a cop when we did it. It was called broken windows policing, and it stopped the drug
Here's
trade
a
in
law.
open air going on in the
You can't take
cities.
heroin. That's the law. The law is you can't take heroin. The law is you
I'd
can't
put
take
'em in
crack.
jail.
Yeah.
The law is you can't take fentanyl.
I'd put 'em
You
in
can't- you
jail,
can't do
and I'd
this,
give
you
them
can't-
counseling
and they
in
do it
jail.
year after year.
Offer them
You know what?
counseling in
So
jail. Get them off
this
the
plan-
street.
This plan eliminates the
So we
public
should give them more
nuisance,
equipment to do it?
or reduces
I
it.
mean,
You know, all right,
So let's
I
give
got to
them more
run, but the
equipment to
one
do
last
it.
point. We're not factoring in here people that get, methamphetamine, they're up for, 72 straight hours. They're out of their minds, psychotic. They're a danger to society, Geraldo. We don't need them on our streets, period, and we don't need to be aiding and abetting in their suicide.
Is the alternative that you want them
I can't,
dead,
in good
though,
conscience,
Sean?
do that. Put them in jail, give
The
them treatment.
alternative is death.
Give them.
I don't want my
they're
kids dead. They
they're
also want
going to
drugs,
die if
so-
they
See,
keep doing it.
I don't
Jail
want my
will
kids
at least
dead
save
for
their
putting
life and give them
drugs.
time to
That kind
think
of
about
matters.
something else.